So we've officially made it to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. In today's episode, I'm going to be going over the predictions I made for the round of 32 and going through the results of the round of 32, round of 16, all the kinds of narratives that came with them, giving my own personal thoughts, opinions, takes on certain situations that happen. And there's a lot of unique opinions here because I'm not basing my opinions based on internet kind of trends. No. I'm basing it off of my football knowledge of the game and I'm basing it off of just what I know, what I saw to have happened. And of course, I'm wearing the Argentina shirt representing. I will definitely get into a lot of those controversies and that kind of stuff in this episode as well, and I'll give my take and my thoughts on all that as well. So everything you can think of when it comes to round of 32, round of 16 review, I'm going to be going over in today's episode, and then when I'm done, I'm going to be giving some quarterfinal and semifinal predictions. I gave predictions for the round of 32. I did not give predictions for the round of 16 because it was literally just too much. Like it was literally just too much. But basically, for my round of 32 predictions, I only got one result exactly correct, but I predicted the right team to move on in all the games except for two of them. And of course, I'll go through which ones they were as I go through the results and as I kind of talk about the narratives and storylines of each of the games. And then, of course, the round of 16 just finished as well. So I'm making this episode actually on the time at the time of recording. There is no game at all today. So it's literally like a rest day in between the World Cup, and then you get into the quarterfinals. So of course, this is a great day for you, the viewer, to enjoy some football content, and that's why I'm out here and I'm going to be providing that for you. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Leave a like on the video, and let's get into it. Let me get into the round of 32 and round of 16 review. So starting with the round of 32 results, South Africa versus Canada. Canada won 1-0, right? Eustachio scored the goal in the end of the game. Like it was a great moment for Canadian soccer, but it's called football. But yes, they'll call it Canadian soccer. It's a great moment because of course they advance, they win a knockout round in the World Cup, they make it to the round of 16. Of course, they didn't do so well, but we'll get into that in the future. But it's a great moment, and of course, me being Canadian, I also support Team Canada, and it was a good thing to see that they managed to pull it through. Netherlands versus Morocco, 1-1, and Morocco won 3-2 on penalties. I didn't predict this correct, but I did predict that Morocco would win this game on penalties. And I just predicted 2-2 instead of 1-1. But it's a solid prediction to say that they would win on penalties because that's what happened. And I end up being right about the Netherlands. It's kind of unlucky from the Netherlands, from the Dutch perspective, because I, before the tournament started, I predicted that the Netherlands would not have a good tournament and that they'd be like the flops of the tournament. I wouldn't say that the Netherlands are the flops of the tournament. They had a good group stage. They just got a draw against a very, very quality team in Morocco, and it was a very tight game. And Morocco scored the late equalizer, and they won there on penalties. Right. I think it had nothing really to do with the Netherlands. They kind of sat back and dropped deep. Like I think the better team won in the game, but like they were maybe a little. It was a little bit harsh for them, I think. But they definitely crashed out of the World Cup a little bit earlier than they would have wanted. So my prediction ends up being vindicated a little bit. So I'm pretty happy with that. I made that prediction on the group podcast episode that me and my friends did on in Niagara when we went to Niagara. That was a very good episode. You should go watch it. I'll leave that in the description. I'll leave it in the cards. You can go check that out because you can see some of the funny predictions that we've made about the World Cup and some other interesting things we talked about on that show as well. And you can see just how wrong some of us were about some of the predictions like that. Like that's for sure. I'll definitely touch upon it here. But I know that I was right at least for a couple of things. So that's good. That's good. That's fun. Germany, Paraguay. Of course, this was like the shock, right? Paraguay won 4-3 on penalties. They managed to hold Germany to a 1-1 draw. And honestly, I think Paraguay deserved it. Like, I think they deserve it. Germany did not really threaten in this game. This was one of the only two results that I didn't predict would go the right way. So I said, you should give me credit. I said that Germany would have a tough time against Paraguay, but I said that Germany would win 2-1 after extra time. So I correctly predicted that it would be 1-1 going into extra time. I didn't think that Paraguay would go all the way. I thought that Germany would just like they'd see it through. They would just make it happen, right? They would get that goal that they needed, and they would win 2-1 after extra time. That was my prediction. But no, Paraguay held out, and they won on penalties. So good for them. It was a great game. Germany definitely really underperformed for sure. Like Germany are probably bigger flops than the Netherlands, right? Because the Netherlands actually played a good team, whereas Germany played a team that they should be beating. But Paraguay, of course, credit to them, right? But this was one of the only two results that I didn't, the only two times that I did not predict the correct team to move on. And, and well, of course, for good reason, because it was a crazy shock, right? France versus Sweden. France won 3-0. This was literally like the most comfortable game. Could have been way more. I predicted 4-0 because I mean it really should have been like 5-0. Really, Sweden really just rolled over and died. Really, nothing else to say there. Same thing with Spain versus Austria. Same type of thing. Like Austria was one of my friends' dark horse picks. Absolutely not. They just absolutely flopped beyond belief. Spain cruised through. Portugal versus Croatia. I went out to watch this game. Of course, this game was the final game in Toronto. Absolutely electric scenes for Portugal. Of course, huge Portuguese community here in the city, and I'm also a Portugal fan, of course, because I spent time in the country. I am Portuguese. Like I'm a Portuguese citizen. But they won this game, and again, the controversy in this game, there was the whole like offside at the end of the game, and everyone's kind of talking about it. My personal opinion is that it was the right decision, and not just because I'm Portuguese. Because if you look at, like, yes, his hair touched the ball, but it touched the ball. The touch is a touch. The offside rule is the offside rule. Even when the guy's like a toe offside, right? The rule's the rule, and they maybe in the problem is the rule. It is not the ref. It is the rule, right? And they need to maybe fix it. They need to have a better understanding of it. Like they need to have some better guidelines when it comes to offsides, better margins, a more clear thing to deal with it with. But yes, like the goal that Croatia scored at the end of the game, it was rightfully disallowed, and Portugal made it through. It's unfortunate for Luka Modric, but now Toronto is actually. It's crazy that Toronto is now like World Cup history. It's Ronaldo's last knockout goal, or as it's his only knockout goal, but it's his last ever World Cup goal, and this is his first and only knockout World Cup goal as well. So I mean that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy that Toronto is like the place that these things have happened. Modric's last World Cup game in Toronto. It's pretty good. So it was pretty electric. It was great vibes in this game on this day. So that was like honestly can't complain really. And they won the game. Portugal managed to make it through. Vamos, right? But unfortunately they didn't go that much further. But obviously we'll get into that. Belgium versus Senegal. This was the other result that I did not predict would in the right way, and it was unlucky too because Senegal absolutely deserved to win this game, right? And Belgium just got the late comeback, and I don't think Belgium are that good a team. I'm gonna be honest, but Senegal put their heart and soul into this game, man. But they just got really, really unlucky. I didn't see the penalty call. People were saying it wasn't a penalty, but I didn't actually see. Actually, I didn't see it, so I don't know. But yes, I actually in my predictions predicted Senegal to win. So that's like a crazy one. You would think, oh, Belgium would be the obvious team to predict to win. No, no, no. I predicted Senegal to win this game. And they really should have, but it was kind of unlucky. So this one and the Germany Paraguay game, those are the only two games I predicted the incorrect team to move on. Like I didn't get the right team, right? But in all the other games I got the right team. But there was only one game that I actually got the right result. Everything else I was close but not really like not really getting it right, right? Here we go. USA Bosnia. USA won 2-0. It was a pretty comfortable game. Really nothing else to say there other than the whole like red card situation, right? That was the red card situation. I'm not going to get too deep into that because we just know that that's just pure it's literally just pure corruption. Like you can literally, you call the FIFA president and he can overturn the decision. It's like okay, like I don't really need to say anything more to that because I think that's an obvious just moment of stupidity, right? Brazil Japan. Brazil won 2-1, and I think this is the right result. Even if they scored a very late winner, but I think they definitely deserve to win this game 2-1. Japan definitely is unfortunate for them because they're a good team. They're a very good team. They probably should have made it a little bit further, but unfortunately they just came up in the first round against a very high quality side in Brazil. So they got knocked out. Ivory Coast versus Norway. Norway won 2-1. This was a little bit of a flat performance from Norway. I'm going to be honest. Ivory Coast didn't do that bad, but Holland got his moment. He waited for his chance and he scored it, right? And that was really the story of that game, right? Mexico versus Ecuador, 2-0. This was the only prediction that I got right. I got that exact score correct. I predicted 2-0 for Mexico. Ecuador really did just roll over and die, but then Then I realized after the fact, like I was watching the game, I was like, oh wow, Mexico looked dangerous. Ecuador, they're just all over the place. I realized after the game that the fans, right? The fans, and this is really like the sad bits of football. There have been many amazing, beautiful things that have happened in the World Cup, but the sad moments and the things that kind of make me a little bit depressed a little bit when it comes to football was when the Mexican fans, they're making noise and they're freaking being loud and annoying outside the Ecuador hotel to keep them awake at night. And it's like a lot of these guys didn't get enough sleep because of the fans, and that's just not good. Like that's just bad taste, man. It really is. And it's like, especially like Latin countries, it's very, very like football. You see football as like a united thing, but like it really isn't. It's so they're just crazy out there, and it's sad. So it's like that actually made me realize, oh, that's part of the reason. I mean, maybe in Mexico we're just better. That's probably part of the reason is because they didn't get enough sleep because of the fans freaking being loud and annoying at night. So it's unfortunate for Ecuador, but but Mexico did play very well in the game, and it has nothing to do with the players; it's the fans, and it really is just it really is a disgrace, and it really is disgusting to see in the game of football to see these types of things happening, and and you just want to have many good moments. There have been many great moments in the World Cup, so I'd really love to just focus on those, but like these types of things really are what ruin a lot of the reputation of the sport, really, because of this stupidity. People can't keep themselves under control, and then it leads to all sorts of problems. Right? It's sad. It really is. But Mexico made it through, and it was the prediction that I got correct. England versus Congo. The Congo, man, fair play to them. They made it tough for England. Same type of thing. Where I predicted 1-0 England, I predicted for it to be a close game. I didn't predict England to just run over the Congo. Like I predicted it to be a very close game, and it ended up being very close. But actually, like the Congo got their early goal, and England looked like they were actually gonna get knocked out for a little bit. But then, of course, Kane comes in clutch. Of course, for England. England haven't looked really that convincing. I'm gonna be honest, but of course, I'll get into that in my predictions. But England, they pulled it out. They won 2-1, right? And then Australia Egypt. Egypt won on penalties. It was a 1-1 game. Egypt, of course, had a very interesting storyline in the next round. Of course, that the game that happened yesterday at the time of recording, which I will have obviously talk about. This game didn't really have that much to really comment on. It was an all right game, but it was kind of a little bit boring, a little bit. But they won on penalties, and I think Egypt definitely deserved to win this game. Argentina versus Cabo Verde. Dude, this was ridiculous. This was ridiculous. And I am Portuguese, so I will call it the proper name, Cabo Verde. I'm not going to be saying Cabo Verde or Cape Verde. Cabo Verde. That's the name of the country. Dude, they gave us a real ride. They really did. They really gave us a real run for our money, and that's crazy to say because I thought it would be a comfortable win. Like Cabo Verde, they had a great storyline for the World Cup, but I was over here like, yeah, it's okay. We're just like their time's up, right? It's like they're coming against the world champions. We looked very good in the group stage, but dude, it was nervy. It was nervy, and it took extra time for us to make it, right? For us to beat these guys, right? It was 1-1 going into extra time, which is funny because then after extra time, Argentina won it 3-2. But absolutely fair play to them. Fair play to them, right? There were no there weren't really any controversies in this game. It was really just like, dude, like what a goal, dude, from Lopes Cabral, man. What a freaking goal, dude. Like that was unbelievable, dude. Like that was a great strike, and just like like we really were nervous. Like as Argentinian fans, we were nervous, right? So fair play to Cabo Verde. They really did show their stuff. They really did show that they were here to compete, and they gave us a real ride for our money. But unfortunately, just the quality, we came out on top in the end. I don't know why it was given an own goal. I'm gonna be honest. Romero got the header to the ball, and then like it hit the guy's hand, it went in. So I don't know how you can determine it was an own goal. An own goal is based off of whether or not the actual initial effort was going in or not. I don't know how they were able to determine that, but I feel like the goal should be credited to Romero. But whatever, it's like I'm not complaining. Argentina still won. They managed to pull it through. But all credit to Cabo Verde. They really did. They really did show that they were like the underdogs of the entire tournament. Of course, right? Of course. So absolutely fair play to them. All credit to them, and I hope that they qualify for the next World Cup too, and that maybe they can even pull off something even more spectacular. Maybe have some other crazy run. But obviously, Vozinha is already 40 years old. I don't know if he'll be 44 in the next World Cup. Right? I don't. He'll probably not be there. But it's such a great story. These are the beautiful moments of football, right? Obviously, the last analysis I was talking about like the Mexico not so good moments, but these are the beautiful moments when you have like a team really punching above their weight and they're really showing the world what they're made of, and they're really just putting all their heart and soul and passion into the sport. That is the story, right? The people crowdfunding and allowing Vozinha's mom to come see the game, and that's beautiful. That's the beauty of football. That you want to keep that in the forefront. And I'm highlighting that type of a moment because that's a great thing in the game, in the sport, that these types of moments happen. But yeah, fair play. Switzerland, Algeria. This was also a very boring game, but like yeah, the Swiss being professional, getting the job done, winning it 2-0. Like really nothing else to say. And Colombia, Ghana. This was also a pretty boring game. Colombia, of course, again, professional, right? Getting the job done. Ghana didn't even have a shot on target the whole game, which sucks because Ghana are also a good team, but they just really underperformed in this game. And Colombia just prevented them from having any real threat. So they won that game 1-0. Those were the round of 32 games. Round of 16 results. I'm going to go through them now. I didn't make any predictions for these ones. I'm actually pretty content with my prediction for the round of 32, even if I only got one result actually right. I was pretty close for most of the games. And there were only two teams that I didn't, like two results that I didn't predict. Two nations that I predicted incorrectly when it comes to what team would actually make it through. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that. I'm pretty all right with my predictions for the round of 32. Round of 16 didn't say any predictions because obviously it just ended up being a little bit too much. But let's get into the results and let's get into the storylines. Obviously, I'll give my analyses. Canada, Morocco, right? Unfortunate, man. Morocco won that game 3-0, but Canada 3-0 maybe was a little harsh scoreline. I'm going to be honest. Canada gave it their all. Like, for most of that game, for like 60 minutes of the game, Morocco didn't really have much. They didn't really have much. They had that one goal, which was a very good strike, but they took their chances, right? We didn't really create enough, right? We didn't create enough to threaten them really in a serious way. We had a couple of very big chances, but when they got their chances, they finished their chances, and it was that simple. And maybe I feel like we maybe could have made some better substitutions in the second half. We maybe could have gone for if we had went for it a little bit more. Maybe we would have had a better chance. But we tried our best. Right, most of these guys out there, they put their heart and soul into this game, and I think 3-0 is definitely a little bit of a harsh scoreline. Like they definitely scored their goals when we were out there trying to push harder to get the equalizer, and then they scored their goals and off the counterattack, and it's unfortunate. It was unfortunate for us, but Canada had a good run. They had a good run, and it was solid, right? They won a knockout game. They made it out of the group, and for a Canadian team that maybe on paper weren't as strong, and for a country that isn't so focused on the game of football, it was a very good thing. And of course, the host nation, the host cities hosting the tournament were very successful as well. The one thing that I was really adamant about, the one thing I was really angry about when it comes to this game, why were we playing this game where were we even playing? I don't even know, in Texas or something like that? The Canadian players were getting booed. There were way more Morocco fans. How are you a host nation and you're the home team and you're getting booed when you're on the ball and sneered when you're on the ball because there are more Moroccan fans in the stadium than Canadian fans? Why wasn't this game played in Vancouver? I know that they predetermined the matches, but we're the host country, right? We're the host country, and we're not even hosting this game. It's a historic game in the history of the country, of the men's national team. Why are we not playing this game in Vancouver? Why are we not playing this game in our country? Like, we're the home team, and we're the host nation. Like, I think it's just disgraceful that you're playing a game where we're being booed and sneered when we're on the ball and we're the home team. I think that's just disgraceful. I think that should never be happening, and that's just bad management. It's just terrible. It's just terrible organization of it all. Like, this should never be happening, and it's like we're the host country. We should at least be able to have the ability to have our fans be in the stadium, right? That's what we did have for well, the round of 32 was in LA, same type of thing, but I think we did have more fans in that game. But we had like in the game against Switzerland, right? It was like in the group stage. We had that. We had that electric atmosphere. If we had maybe that type of a thing in this game, maybe we would have had a better chance, right? We would have had that 12th man behind us. That was the one thing I was really annoyed about, and I was like, well, like why is that the case, right? But there's nothing you can do about it. It's unfortunate, and yes, Morocco definitely deserves to win. They're a quality team. I'm not demeaning them. Good for them, and of course they move on. We lose. Paraguay versus France, another game that has some interesting storylines. France won 1-0, but they definitely did not look convincing. Paraguay definitely stifled them a lot, but unfortunately, once France got their goal, Paraguay didn't really show anything on the attack, which is like that was where they kind of got exposed. They didn't really have the attack. They had very very good defense, but they couldn't really get it over the line. They weren't really ever threatening France. And again, some bad stuff when it comes to the game of football. Some Paraguayan senator calling Mbappe some names, and then Mbappe putting like a pretty funny response to it because like of all the memes and stuff that were relating to it. But yes, like that type of stuff should never be in the sport of football, of course. And it's unfortunate. It's like I don't like Mbappe as a player. I don't like France, but I'm not like that's not like it's still not nice. Like it's just disgraceful to be saying stuff like that, like from the Paraguayan senator. It's like that's taking it one step too far, right? Of course, and I definitely don't condone any of that type of behavior at all. Even if I don't like him or the players, like it's not like it's just stupidity, right? And it's like good for him standing up for it on was it on Twitter. Well, of course it's on Twitter. Where else would it be, right? Social media. But good for him that he's standing up for himself and for his team and for what's right. But yeah, France deserved to make it through, even if they didn't look as convincing. Paraguay had their run as well, but yes, one step too far, right? Portugal versus Spain. I also went out to watch this game, and this was not as good as the Croatia game. Unfortunately, a way worse result. But yes, Spain are a good team. They're a quality team, and I think it's not so embarrassing that we lost to Spain because Spain had it, right? Like, but I think in the game, you look at the game, and it was just unfortunate. They just didn't look like they wanted it. A lot of the players on that pitch, it just was lackluster. Like it literally was just a flat performance, which has really been the case for us all tournament. Like you can't put it fully on the coach, even if the coach not retired, but he resigned and people were criticizing him. You can't put it all on the coach. He made the subs, like he did what he could, right? Like even if his tactics weren't the greatest, it's down to the players. Like it's like you also can't put it all on Ronaldo either, because there are 11 guys on that pitch. Like Bruno Fernandes goes to the all tournament, Bernardo Silva goes to the all tournament, like like there are guys on that pitch, like even Vitinha and João Neves, like they did not do that well in the tournament, just overall. Right? João Felix also kind of ghosted in that game too. Like there's 11 men on the pitch, right? Pedro Neto, don't even get me started. Like he literally played as bad for Portugal as he's been playing for Chelsea, and I like him as a player. Like he has great potential, but it just wasn't good, right? Like I think Leão should have started the game, but he came on as a sub and he tried, but couldn't really make anything happen. He played so well against Croatia, Rafa Leão, but but I think he should have started this game. But it was just a flat performance. It felt like they didn't really want it. And if any team was going to score, it was going to be Spain. Even if Spain didn't actually really. They had great chances, Spain. They did. They threatened a bit more, but not that much, like significantly more than we threatened. But Spain, like if anyone was going to get the goal, it was going to be Spain or was going to go to penalties, right? But I honestly don't think we deserved the win at all. I think from start to finish, Spain were definitely the better team. And when we had possession and attacking threat, we didn't really use it. We didn't really have that much threat. We didn't have that many opportunities. We had a couple good chances where we hit the crossbar off a deflected shot one time, but really, like it was really flat. It really was flat, like the whole tournament. So good for Spain. I think they deserve it for sure. But but I have a lot of criticisms when it comes to the team. Not the same types of criticisms that the internet has, because I don't think it's all down to the manager. I think it's not all down to Ronaldo. It's a team effort, right? It's a team effort. When a guy like Bruno Fernandes is not playing and he's not motivated and he's not giving his all to the game, and when a lot of other players are doing the same, and of course Nuno Mendes getting injured, that didn't help as well. That of course Yamal was allowed to get in the game a little bit too much. It was like Spain made the subs, their subs came in, they made it happen, right? Marino's the type of guy that pops up in these types of situations that has been known to score some clutch goals. So of course it was him as well, and I knew it too once he scored. I'm like, of course it was this guy, dude, right? But yes, that's the story of this game. Really flat performance. Wasn't really happy with it, but I wouldn't put it down to one player. It's a team effort, right? You go down with the ship, and of course I'm going down with the ship, right? I'm supporting the team, and it's like it is what it is. We're gonna try again next time, right? hopefully with a different situation, with some more progressive tactics, and yes, a striker that is not 41 years old, as good as Ronaldo is, and as much as talented as he is, and as much as he had his time, I think that's it, right? We took it one step too far with him. I think that's the truth. But yes, that's the story of the game. Really flat performance, and it's unfortunate, but we got to move on. We go home, right? We got to fly back, fly back to Portugal, right? Portugal, pa. Unfortunate, unfortunate. USA Belgium. USA really rolled over and died. Like Balogun served his suspension on the field. Like literally, he didn't touch the ball. Like he didn't really do much. Belgium freaking just absolutely steamrolled the US. I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't think Belgium have a good team, but clearly the US just rolled over and died. Like Belgium just absolutely cooked them from start to finish, really. So there's really nothing else to say here. It's like US are out, all three host nations get knocked out. Well, actually, I haven't talked about the Mexico game yet, but that's next. That's next year. But all three host nations get knocked out in the round of 16. It's unfortunate, but I guess that's how the cookie crumbles. But the U.S. are probably the most surprising for me that they didn't even compete. They just really rolled over and died, right? So it's like ugh. That's all I gotta say. It's just ugh, right. Mexico England. This was the game of the tournament. Unfortunately, I missed it. I didn't really watch most of it. I watched like the ending of it, but I missed like the main part of it. England win the game 3-2, right? England win the game 3-2. I actually skipped the game. Hold on, I'll go back to it. But England win the game 3-2. Yes, all three host nations get knocked out. I think Mexico absolutely could have done more. Like they had like a whole 20 minutes with England backpedaling, holding a 1-0 lead, just clinging on to it, but they didn't really threaten as much as they probably could have. Like their chance creation, they weren't creating any real high quality chances. Like I feel like they could have done better considering they just had dominant possession, 11 versus 10. But England, they did well to hold out. Again, it wasn't very convincing from England, but Mexico are a good team, man. And they had a great World Cup, man. Like, I wish they went further, but they had a freaking phenomenal World Cup. So good for them. They can definitely go home with their heads held high. Unlike Portugal, who should not really be having their heads held high. But Mexico can definitely be doing that. And England, like again, even if they haven't been convincing, they've been getting the job done, which I guess is a mark of a good team, right? So good for them, right? Brazil versus Norway. This was like probably the shock of the whole round, right? Like Brazil. I think Brazil created the chances. Like Norway, it was another like real smash and grab performance from Norway. Really, to be honest, like another performance where Holland wasn't really in the game, and then of course at the end of the game he gets his chances and he scores the goals because he's that clinical of a striker, and that's a very great asset to have in any team that you can be ghosting the whole game and you can just come in and turn it on and just score off of one shot. You only need one shot. That's Holland. That's Holland for you. And that's what he's been like in this tournament. So fair play to him and fair play to Norway. I think Brazil had the chances, right? Endrick had a breakaway and he freaking missed the net, right? They had a few great shots and of course Nyland, the goalie for Norway, had to make some amazing saves. He made some great saves, right? So he saved the penalty too from Bruno Guimarães, and and it's like I think Brazil definitely created the chances, but they just unfortunately they didn't pull it through. Good for Neymar that he had his moment. They gave the penalty to him, and he had his moment. Of course, it's probably his last World Cup game too, so it's good for him. But and that was a nice sentimental moment as well. But yeah, like Norway, good for them. Like they're really going for it, right? And Norway dark horse, right? They are now officially the dark horse. They're a quarterfinal team, right? They are the dark horse of the tournament, and they have proven to be that. I predicted Norway as a dark horse in that group podcast we did in Niagara. Again, I'll put that in the description if you want to watch that when you're done watching this one. But like I predicted it, and I don't think it was a very crazy prediction. And my other friend predicted or Holland to be like the top scorer. Holland would rip up the World Cup type of thing, player of the tournament. And it's not a bad prediction. He's on 7 goals, right? But like it definitely wasn't the it definitely was a little bit obvious. Like out of all the teams to be the dark horse, Norway would be like the obvious pick. But you still have to perform, right? People pick Turkey as their dark horse every tournament, and they always underperform. And then in this World Cup, of course, as well, they very very underperformed, right? But when it comes to Norway, they've done it, right? They're officially the dark horse. They're in the quarterfinals, right? Them and Morocco, but are Morocco really even the dark horse anymore? Because like of what they did last tournament, and they definitely have a little bit of a better team this time around. Like they are well in They definitely deserve it, Morocco. Norway, it's like they had to beat a big freaking team in Brazil, right? And they had to they needed some help from their goalie, right? They needed a little bit of luck. They needed bad finishing from Brazil because they definitely created the chances to make it happen, but they didn't, and that's football, right? Like it's not about expected goals; it's about actual goals, and that's the truth, right? Many games you have expected goals versus actual goals, right? The Cabo Verde Argentina game is a great example. Like Cabo Verde did not create two expected goals, but they just were clinical when they had their chances, right? Whereas Argentina took a long time for them to get going, right? And similar types of things, obviously in the game that I'm about to talk about now, probably the most contentious game of the World Cup so far, but also the most entertaining with many storylines. And I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I have my own opinions and my own thoughts with it. But yes, Argentina versus Egypt. Argentina win the game 3-2. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. If there's going to be a clip that I clip out of this episode, it's going to be right here. Obviously, I'm wearing the Argentina shirt. I'm representing my heritage, my country. There were a few moments that were very contentious that I'm going to just touch upon, and I will be as respectful as possible. I'm not trying to be the type of guy to stir up strife, but truly, from an unbiased perspective, I think out of all the things that people should be complaining about, it's probably the foul when it came to Egypt's second goal. So the goal that got disallowed, it was a foul. Yes, I think it was absolutely a foul on Martinez, and then they go and they scored the goal. But the question is like, yes, it's a little bit further away. Like it was so far away in the play that would have like if people aren't even arguing that one. If that was the one people were arguing, I'd be like, yeah, that's fine. Like that was honestly a weird decision that VAR kind of came back and they stepped in and we were lucky. Like I'm like there's like we're not being favored. We were just lucky that we got the decision in that instance. But like, dude, Egypt, man, like Hassan, bro. Like I knew who he was. Like I watched a couple of the games that Egypt had played in the World Cup. Hassan was good, but he was just freaking cooking us up. He was cooking the defenders up. Like literally, like that was their goals, right? Like the goal that got disallowed. Hassan freaking nutmeg. I don't know who he nutmegged, but he absolutely made some guy look silly. Laid it off to Salah. Salah rolled back the years with an amazing pass, and Zico scored. And then for the goal that ended up counting, obviously that one got disallowed. The goal that ended up counting, similar type of thing, where it started with Salah, he played it to Hassan. Again, he dribbles through a guy, sauces him up, right? Crosses it in, Zico finishes, and then they actually get their 2-0 goal. Right? Just bad defending from Argentina. We were just all over the place. But you have to give credit to these freaking attackers, man. And the game really did change when Hassan got injured and when they took off Zico. Like, that was their counterattacking threat for Egypt, right? That was the threat that they had, right? And it freaking showed really well. Like, fair play to them, man. Absolutely, for sure. But that was the one for me that was interesting. Like, that foul there that got brought back, it was an interesting decision. But it was definitely a foul. For me, it was it was a little bit far back. Like, of course, it's a foul in the offensive end. And then, of course, they go on the counterattack and they score, right? It's a little far back. But I personally think it's the right decision. I think it is the right decision. I think it was a foul for sure. Like Martinez has two guys kicking him. One guy kicks him in the knee. The other guy steps on him. I think it's an absolutely clear foul. But I give all credit to Egypt, man. Because they really did deserve the win there. Like, for 80 minutes of that game, Egypt were the better team. Argentina, like, we really, like, took a long time to wake the hell up, right? And when we woke up, and it ended up being a historic comeback for us, right? Like, this is history. This is history. It was history. It was the first time that a team from 2-0 down with, like, 10 minutes left in the game score 3 goals without even needing extra time. Every time that there was a big comeback, even in the Belgium-Senegal game, they needed extra time to do it. We just did it in normal time. We didn't even need extra time because once we had that momentum, we literally just used it and we seized the momentum. So it ended up being a historic comeback, right? And you can say all you want about freaking FIFA's boy or whatever and like preferences or corruption, but at the end of the day, the players had to come through and score goals, right? They were 3 goals that had no problems with them. No issues, no problems. 3 goals that were just high quality goals, right? Romero for the first goal was not offside. He was well onside. Messi for the second goal. It was just a powerful hit, right? I feel a little bit bad for the Egyptian goalkeeper because he got hands to both of those shots, but they were just super powerful shots that he just couldn't save them. But let's talk about the third goal. Let's talk about the third goal because that was the one that everyone was complaining about. In my opinion, there is no way that was a foul ever in a million years. That's my opinion, right? No way that there was a foul in the box for that. No foul on Salah at all in the build-up to the play. And then there was an off-the-ball challenge, like he was lightly holding him. And these types of challenges happen all the time in the box and are never called. I don't think that was a foul at all. That's my opinion. That was the thing, it's weird to me how that was the thing that people were mad about. And then, of course, Argentina go and they score the third goal, right? Amazing cross from Lautaro Martinez, and then Enzo Fernandez with a great header. We make it 3-2. The comeback's complete, right? Everyone's going crazy. Like the commentator on Telemundo was just like he was losing his voice. He literally was going absolutely nuts. But I don't see the foul. There was no foul in there. If people were complaining about the goal that was disallowed for Egypt, I understand. But people aren't even complaining about that. I honestly understand that. Like, as that being a weird one. Like a lucky decision for Argentina. But saying that our goal shouldn't have counted because it was a penalty, that's what people are adamant about. And that's like the narrative online. And that's something that's weird to me. I don't think that was a foul in any world. So it is very, very weird to me how that was the one. If there was anything to complain about and to call corruption, right? Like the boy who called corruption. It's like they're always going to find a way to criticize us, right? Like they being the internet and the narratives, right? But like that's not even the thing they're talking about. They're talking about like some penalty shout that wasn't even close. Like that's my personal opinion. I see that play and it's like that happens all the time in the box, always. Like there wasn't that much in it. Like it is very strange. It's very strange to me. I personally think the game was not lost in those decisions. The game was not changed in those decisions. The game was lost when Hassan got injured and Egypt took off Zico. Because that was really the difference. Egypt were the better team for 80 minutes in that game. And I give full credit, full fair play to Egypt. They really poured their heart and soul out. Same thing with Cabo Verde. It's like Argentina have not looked comfortable. In games where they maybe should have looked comfortable, they have not looked comfortable at all. And it took a crazy, historic comeback for them to actually pull it through. But that's why it's a 90-minute game, right? Because you have the opportunity for 90 minutes to make it happen, right? And eventually they pulled it through, they made it happen, we managed to get it. But like, fair play, full credit to Egypt because they really gave it their all. But in my opinion, the game didn't change because of those refereeing decisions, because I think they were correct. The game changed when the substitutions were made and they lost all of their threat on the counterattack. And then we were allowed to just continue piling on the pressure until finally we made that breakthrough. Messi, of course, being the guy doing it, right, as always, right? So that's, I think, where the game truly changed. But I give all the credit to Egypt. And I think Egyptians, they have the right to feel robbed, right? They have the right to feel robbed because there are contentious decisions that could have gone either way. But this random guy on the internet that's saying that Argentina are FIFA's child or whatever, like these types of narratives, it's like, buddy, like you have like you're not even involved. You're just salty because Italy didn't make it to the World Cup. That's the truth, right? Like that was maybe a bit mean. Sorry, my bad. I'm getting a little riled up here because it's like that kind of narrative really does piss me off. Like in 2022, the narrative was, oh, Messi can only score penalties, right? That was the narrative. And now that Messi's missed 2 penalties in this World Cup, that's no longer the narrative. So they're trying to find some other narrative to demean our quality as a country, right? And it's like, of course, we Argentinians, we don't care, right? We don't care. We're happy that we made it to the quarterfinals, but I think you can ask any Argentinian and they'll for sure say that we definitely did not really deserve that win for majority of that game, right? It took character, and that character really showed. World champion mentality, of course. Even when you're down, they managed to have belief and stay motivated, and they managed to make it happen. But full credit to Egypt, but that is really my piece on those controversies. I don't really think that there was anything in it. That's my opinion. You can chastise me, you can hate me in the comments for it, but this is just passion. It's just passion. It is me just truly being happy that we made it to the next round. But yes, I give all the credit to Egypt that they really did. They had a great World Cup too. They had an amazing World Cup, and they were definitely deserving of at least extra time, right? Of at least like a little bit more in there. But it's unfortunate. The quality just showed in the end on our side. And of course, like Hassan, right, being the guy for them, it's unfortunate, right? And then the final game, like after I've just spent like 5 minutes talking, maybe a little bit more, talking about the Argentina-Egypt situation, Switzerland-Colombia was like probably one of the most boring games of the tournament. There's nothing much to talk about. Switzerland won 4-3 on penalties, a 0-0 draw. It was literally just a super ultra professional performance from the Swiss, because that's who they are. That's what they do. I really don't have anything else to say on that. So that's the round of 16. Really, the biggest thing is the Argentina-Egypt situation. Obviously, I've given my take on that. You can chastise me in the comments, do whatever the hell you want. But as an Argentinian guy with Argentinian heritage, I say this stuff out of passion. That I think we were not the better team, but when we made that comeback, I don't think there was anything contentious there. I don't think there was, I think the decisions were correct. We were a little bit lucky that they happened, but it was no more than just a little bit of luck. I truly do believe that. And yes, it is just internet narratives that are just not true, because they're trying to hate. And all people do hate is hate, right? When they hate Ronaldo, they hate Messi, all sorts of hate, right? Why can't we just appreciate that these are two guys that ran the sport, that did so well, and that were historic and were amazing in their day, right? And Messi is obviously still showing that he's amazing. Ronaldo had his moments, but this is definitely both of their last World Cups, right? Why can't we just sit there and appreciate it, instead of just trying to find a narrative to demean their character, to demean their countries? Like for Portugal, it's not Ronaldo's fault that we didn't make it. It was the whole team, right? For Argentina, there's no, I don't think there's any corruption. I think they were the right decisions, right? Same thing with 2022. I think they were the right decisions, right? People will always find a way to hate. Let's just appreciate that we had the opportunity to see these great guys play, and Messi will continue to play, right? And he's going to continue to carry this team, which is crazy that he's still carrying this team at 39, right? Rather than focusing on all the controversies and stuff like that, let's focus on just how good this guy is being, right? So that's it. That was my piece on that game. I'm going to end it there. I let a little bit of passion and anger kind of come out a little bit too much. That's my bad on that. But that's my personal opinion. You can hate me for it, but it is just an opinion. So take it how you will. And yes, those are the round of 32 and round of 16 results, and those are all the narratives that are in relation to those. I've gone through it. So I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of everything really I've talked about. Now I'm going to get into some predictions. Quarterfinal and semifinal predictions. I maybe don't want to spend too much time on it, because I've already spent a lot of time on some of these rants and some of these things that I've been talking about. But let's go through it. Disclaimer before I go through these predictions: heavily biased predictions, unbelievably biased predictions that probably won't happen. I just want it to happen, right? I'm just going with my heart. This is what my heart wants. Logically, I know that this is probably not going to be the case. I know that France are probably going to win the World Cup, right? Logically, because France looks scary. That's the truth, right? But I am hoping, it's really just a hope out of anything, that something happens to France, that something changes, and well, I'm going to go through it, right? You're going to see what my predictions are. So that's the disclaimer. It's heavily biased. I understand that these are probably not going to happen, but let's go through it. France versus Morocco. My prediction is 2-2, and Morocco win on penalties. Are Morocco going to win 2 games on penalties? No, but France were the team to beat Morocco in 2022. Obviously, Morocco had a very good run in that tournament. But if they beat France, then they will be able to get to the semifinals again in back-to-back tournaments. It's a big ask. Morocco are a good team. They are probably a little bit better than they were in 2022, I'd say. But France are another level. France are just another demon. They're just another beast. So this is really hopeful. But let's say Morocco managed to pull it through, late equalizer, right? Against the Netherlands, they managed to pull it through, and they managed to make it happen, right? Right, France have been known to miss some penalties, right? They've been known to not really have some good bottle. How's your bottle, lad? They've been known to not really have that. So we're really hoping here. We're really reaching here, but we're gonna say 2-2. Morocco win on penalties. That's the official prediction. I'm not going to change that. And we're just going to move on. Spain versus Belgium. I think Spain have not conceded a goal in the World Cup yet, and I think that will continue. My prediction here is Spain will win 2-0 against Belgium. It'll be another professional performance from Spain. I don't think Belgium have it. I do not think that Belgium are a very good team, and I do not think that they will have any chance against Spain. I think Spain will be professional, similar type of performance to the one against Portugal, and maybe they'll get like another later goal, maybe because on the counterattack, because Belgium are trying to push for the equalizer. And I think they will continue to go into the semifinals having not conceded a goal in the tournament, which is a pretty crazy thing, but pretty crazy thing to say because they're known for their attack, not really their defense. But that's what's happening, and I think it's going to continue because I don't think Belgium have it. That's just my opinion. Norway versus England. I'm predicting this to be the shock prediction of the tournament. I'm predicting that Norway will win this game 1-0. I have not really been impressed with England. They have really been kind of squeezing by, in my opinion, when it comes to the games that they've played already so far. And Norway are already the dark horse, right? They're already made it to the quarterfinal. They've done so well. They've beaten Brazil, and Brazil are a great team. So why can't they beat England, right? Why can't they go and make it happen? Why can't it be another? Oh, they've just held out. It's been a little like they've made the game a little bit boring. England haven't been able to break them down. And then Haaland gets one chance late on in the game and he scores it, like he's done the last 2 games. Why can't it be like that, right? Why can't there be another game like that? And I think there's all the chance that this will happen. And it's, again, we're kind of reaching here. I'm making a bold prediction, right? But I'm thinking this will be the shock. This will be the shock of the quarterfinals, right? That Norway will beat England and Norway will be a semifinal team in the World Cup. It's definitely bold. It is definitely very, very bold to say this, but I've seen Norway and they've been a solid defensive team and they've waited for their chances and they have a guy up top in Haaland that can score goals with just the smallest slight of goal, right? So that's the shock prediction, and I think England will be unable to break them down. They will be in their block, they will be there letting England onto them, and they won't be able to have them. They won't be able to do it, right? That's my opinion, and that's what I think will happen, and it is. We'll see, but this is definitely the shock of the tournament. Probably, the shock of the tournament too. Argentina versus Switzerland. I think Argentina will have an early scare like they've been having in the last couple of games. They will concede an early goal and they will start slow again. But I think this time they'll do it. They'll win 3-1. That's my prediction. They scored 3 goals and they've won 3-2 in the last 2 games. I think they'll win 3-1 against the Swiss. The Switzerland. I don't even know what I'm saying. But they will have an early shock, maybe going into like the 50th minute, maybe going into like halftime, the Swiss will be winning 1-0, but they'll turn it on and they'll win the game 3-1. I'm pretty confident in that. And like we're definitely the better team in Switzerland, but we were also definitely the better team against Cabo Verde and Egypt, but they managed to punch above their weight and do super well, and I give full credit to both of those teams. The Swiss will kind of do the same type of thing, I think. Argentina have not looked very convincing, but I think they will get the job done again in the quarterfinals. That's my prediction for that game. So we got the semifinals. We have here, again, probably not going to happen, but Morocco versus Spain, World Cup 2022 round of 16 rematch where Morocco won on penalties. The Hakimi Panenka with the penguin celebration, and I remember I was watching that game. I was in phys ed class and I was watching that game like in the bathroom. Like I went out of class and I went to the bathroom and I just watched the penalties on my phone in the bathroom. I was sitting there and like I saw this happen. Spain didn't score a single penalty, bro. Like that's crazy. So this is a rematch of that game. And Morocco will give it their all. Truly. I think Spain will not go the whole tournament without conceding a goal. I think this is where their run ends. I think Morocco will score a goal. They will give it their all. It'll be very, very hard for Spain. They will really have to grind it through, but they will win the game 2-1. I truly think Spain will win that game 2-1. And even if it's not Morocco, if it's France, I'm backing Spain. I would always back Spain even if it was France versus Spain anyway, because I don't like France. Obviously, if you haven't guessed yet, I do not want France to win. I just don't like anything about them. That's just my opinion. My personal bias against them. But Morocco will give it their all. They'll score their goal. They'll have a great chance. but it'll be another like freaking a guy like Marino will come in again and score another late winner, or if it's not Marino, it will be someone else who just comes in clutch and makes it happen for Spain because that's what they got. They got clutch players, and that's a good formula for success. They already won the Euros, of course. They won the Euros. It's a great formula for success, right? So so I think they will concede a goal. They will not go the whole tournament without conceding, but they will win this game. They will win this game, and they will kind of get their one up over Morocco from last World Cup as well. And Norway versus Argentina. Like when I was writing this down yesterday, I was making these predictions yesterday. When I was writing this down, I was like, this is ridiculous. Morocco, Spain, Norway, Argentina as a Final Four is nuts, right? Like that's crazy, right? But it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. But I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with it, right? Because it's probably gonna be France, Spain, England, Argentina. That makes a lot more sense, right? But I think I am really hoping for a couple of upsets. And again, I think it makes the predictions interesting by predicting a couple of upsets. But I think Norway's run ends here. I think the situation that happens in Norway versus Argentina is Argentina finally decide to wake up, right? Instead of starting the game slow and underestimating their opponents, then they will actually finally wake up. They will finally pull it through. Like similarly to the last World Cup, where remember they had a couple of scares, right? Against Australia, they were winning 2-0, but then Australia they scored to make it 2-1, and it took a very good save from Martinez to not have that game to go to extra time, and we won that game we squeezed by, and also against the Netherlands, right? We threw it away. We were 2-0 up, and they actually managed to force it to extra time with that very smart free kick to Weghorst, who just came in and made it happen, right? And we won on penalties, right? So remember that actually it wasn't so comfortable in the knockout rounds for Argentina in that World Cup either, but then in the semifinals, it was a professional performance against Croatia. Messi obviously scoring getting that crazy assist where he just sauced up Gvardiol and then made that pass to Alvarez. Like, that's the type of thing that the narratives don't talk about, just that quality. They'll talk about the refs and the decisions, but they won't just talk about that absolute pure masterclass and genius that happened in that game. But that was professional. It was a professional performance. We won that game 3-0 and secured our place in the final, right? I think this will be similar type of thing. We've kind of rocked the boat a little bit. We've had our scares, but we've managed to squeeze through. And semifinals, we kind of turn it on finally, a more professional performance, and we win 2-0 is the score I'm predicting against Norway. Even if Norway will still try their best, they'll give it their all as they've been doing all tournament. But I think this is where their time will come. This is where their time will end. But they can of course leave the tournament. Even if they lose to England, right, which could happen, right? It's like it could go either way. They can still absolutely go home being very proud of themselves because it's been a very, very good showing from them, right? So then I'm predicting an Argentina versus Spain final, which at the end of the day that's not great. That's not a crazy thing to say, but the kind of things that lead up to it, that's what's kind of a little bit crazy. So we'll be back, right? I will come back at the end of the semifinals in a preview to the final to see what happens. I will go over these predictions. I will go over the results, of course, of the quarters and semis in this similar type of a format of an episode. But that is it. That is it for me for today. Vamos Argentina. Vamos. Let's go. I think that Argentina have all the chance of making it. We have not been convincing. That's the truth. Say quietly. We've not been convincing, but I think eventually we will start to get convincing because that was kind of what it was in 2022. I don't want it to be a rematch of France-Argentina. I think that's boring. I also don't want France to make it anyway. So I'm saying Argentina-Spain, and I'm predicting a couple of shocks that probably won't happen. But if they do, you can look back on this episode and call me a genius, right? Call me a footballing genius. So we'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But we will see what happens. So I'm excited for it, and I hope that you guys are excited for it as well. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope that it was definitely entertaining. I tried my best to make it as entertaining as possible. So if you're still here, that definitely means that there was some level of entertaining quality that came with it. So I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you enjoyed this next stage of the quarterfinal, semifinal of the World Cup, because now it's crunch time. It really is. It really is truly do or die, right? Perform or you're going home, right? You're that's pretty much where we're at, right? So let's hope for some very entertaining games. There in the last rounds there were some entertaining games, but also some not very entertaining games. So let's hope for some entertaining games. Let's hope that there will be some many other great storylines, and of course many other false narratives as well that will come up inevitably, right? But here's to a very entertaining next part of the World Cup, and I will return to it, and I will return to talking about it when we get to the finals preview. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode and this breakdown of all that's been going on in the World Cup so far. Thank you for watching. That's really all I got to say for today, and I've really tried my best to really talk about everything that I could talk about today. I've really just poured it out there, giving you something to think about. Of course, on this day where there are no games, it's definitely something that you can think about as well. So, thank you for watching. Like the video, subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify. Of course, show your support on the show. If you did enjoy this episode, if you are excited for what is to come in the future, watch some of the other great episodes I've made on the show already. I've already given some World Cup analyses, which you can go check out, and of course the group podcast I did like about a month ago with my friends, where we also talked very much heavily about the World Cup and a bunch of other things as well. Go watch some of those. If you enjoyed this one, you will enjoy those other ones as well. So thank you for watching. Show your support in any way that you can on the show. Continue to glorify God every day throughout your life. As always, I will see you tomorrow for the next episode of the 365 podcast.